Shalom, brothers and sisters. So, chaos unfolding between India and Pakistan, and Trump tried to claim that he got them to stop for about 10 seconds, and then they started shooting at each other again. So, there's that. India launches missile attacks on 3 air bases as tensions continue to escalate. Tensions between India and Pakistan reached a boiling point following a series of cross-border attacks and counterattacks in the disputed Kashmir region. The conflict, rooted in decades of territorial disputes and mutual accusations of supporting terrorism, escalated significantly since the deadly attack on tourists, which we covered already, that happened. Both nuclear-armed nations have engaged in missile strikes, drone attacks, and heavy shelling, raising global concerns about the potential for a broader conflict. On the 8th of May, Pakistan claimed it shot down 25 Indian drones over its cities, including Karachi and Rawalpindi, some near sensitive military installations. Pakistan's foreign minister warned of a response at a time and place of its choosing, while experts suggested military bases could be the next targets. On May the 9th, Pakistan's military reported intercepting Indian missile attacks on 3 air bases, with blasts reported in Indian-administered Kashmir, Amritsar, and Punjab. The tit-for-tat exchanges have resulted in at least 48 deaths, 32 in Pakistan, and significant damage to infrastructure on both sides. So, chaos and pretty much war unfolding between the two nations. Pakistan then warned of nuclear war with India. Tensions between them reached critical point following the series of military engagements and provocative rhetoric, raising concerns about the potential for this to go nuclear. Pakistan's Defense Minister, Khawaja Muhammad Asif, warned that the threat of nuclear war is clear and present, citing India's alleged aggressive actions as a catalyst for the escalating crisis. Indian Prime Minister Modi granted the military complete operational freedom, leading to the airstrikes on Pakistani air defense systems and other targets on the 7th of May. Pakistan retaliated, targeting Indian military installations with drones and missiles, although India claims these attacks were neutralized without casualties. The tit-for-tat strikes continued, with both sides reporting drone incursions and missile attacks. On the 8th of May, the India's Ministry of Defense reported the Pakistani drones and missiles targeted military stations in Jammu, Pathankot, Udhampur, while Pakistan accused India of striking civilian targets, including a mosque, and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, killing 26 civilians. The conflicting narratives have fueled mutual distrust and heightened the risk of miscalculation. Pakistan's Defense Minister, Asif, stated that the country would resort to nuclear weapons if faced with a direct threat to our existence. However, his assertion that a nuclear war could break out at any time if India imposes an all-out war sent shockwaves through the international community. So, huge threat happening now with the nuclear fact that both sides have a lot of warheads. Now, if we look at the numbers, 2025, Pakistan is sitting with the fastest growing arsenal in the world. Alarmists estimate that Pakistan will become this year the 3rd largest nuclear weapon power, leapfrogging ahead of France, China, and the United Kingdom, behind only the United States and Russia. They possibly own 170 nuclear warheads. That's Pakistan. India, as per the US-based think tank Federation of American Scientists, FAS, India possesses around 13 nuclear weapons in the year 2000. By 2025, it grew to an estimated, so it's probably more, 180, marking a sharp 92% increase in their nuclear weapon production. So you're sitting with 170 nukes against 180 plus nukes, and both of them developing more nukes as they can to become even stronger nuclear powers, and now they're shooting at each other with massive rhetoric against each other as well. Now the problem with that is In 2019, we were warned that a nuclear war between India and Pakistan in, wait for it, 2025 could potentially kill 125 million people and cause mass starvation worldwide. Now, considering we're going into a time of famine, which is Jacob's trouble, and how everything's playing towards that point, hitting that food area in that part of the world will drastically drive mass starvation. When I heard, this is now the article, that a study was released in 2019 that analyzed the damage that would be done by a nuclear war between India and Pakistan in 2025, I knew I had to investigate. It turns out the study does exist. According to the authors of the study, a nuclear war between India and Pakistan in 2025 will cause up to 125 million direct fatalities and would produce a nuclear winter which would cripple global food production. Now you're thinking of prevailing winds and radiation carrying and all those things as well. The authors evaluated a simulated nuclear war scenario for the year 2025 between these two countries. Based on advice from policy and military experts, they found that if Pakistan attacks urban targets in 2025 with 150 nuclear weapons, and if India responds with 100 nuclear weapons, depending on the size of the weapons, ranging from 15 kiloton to 100 kiloton, smoke from burning cities would release 16 to 36 teragrams of black carbon into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and cooling the surface by 2 to 5 degrees. So there goes global warming. If you read the actual study, you'll discover it says that a nuclear war between these two nations would cause mass starvation around the world, and it would take more than 10 years for the climate to fully recover. Or should we say at least 7 years, 1 week ahead of tribulation. And in that week, they're trying to recover from the chaos of a nuclear exchange in various parts of the world. They've already spitballed one for 2025 between India and Pakistan, and whoops, now India and Pakistan are shooting at each other and threatening each other with nukes. Well, Pakistan threatening India with nukes. And the study in 2019 points to exactly this on exactly this year between exactly these two players. It feels like I'm in a movie. Crazy. And here we are. That's the world we're living in right now. And that's not the only place where nukes could be used. There's a lot of other options for nukes around the world, and a lot of other places where nukes are possibly going to be exchanged shortly when everything goes completely pear-shaped. So immediately, I've seen renowned Christian leaders weighing in and saying, I stand with India against Pakistan. It's a no-brainer, and I'm with them and against them. How about we be against this war and think about the civilians and the people that need Jesus on both sides? How about that? So let me take you down that line for a second. Let's look at some articles from these two countries, especially for these leaders saying they definitely stand with India. Now, we've got some beautiful brothers and sisters on this channel from India, and I, for one, am praying for their safety in this. Tragedy in FIRNZAJJ. Young Christian man brutally murdered amidst rising persecution in Pakistan. 19-year-old Masi, a beloved only son to a widowed mother, was shot dead in cold blood in the Abat area of FIRNZAJJ. The murder, committed by influential Muslim individuals in a religiously motivated attack, sent shockwaves through the Christian community. Human rights organizations have long documented patterns of violence, forced conversions, and legal persecution, often under the guise of blasphemy laws or communal hostilities. Despite worldwide outcry and calls for reform, justice remains elusive for the victims, the Christians. Pakistan's persecution of Christians hits alarming new heights. A chilling new report from the Human Rights Focus Pakistan, HRFP, reveals a dramatic escalation in the victimization of religious minorities in Pakistan in the first quarter of 2025, worse than ever before. Christians are bearing a disproportionate burden of abuse. Pakistan's latest wave of atrocities against Christians in 2025 is not an aberration. It is a grotesque culmination of centuries of state-sanctioned brutality and indifference. This is a nation where Christian girls are stolen from their families, forcibly converted and married to their abusers, where a false blasphemy accusation can ignite a lynch mob, and where justice is a privilege reserved for the majority Muslim population. So Pakistan, absolutely an incredibly dangerous place for Christians at this stage, and it's ramped up something crazy in 2025. What about India? Hindus are urged to rape and kill Christians on March the 1st in Chhattisgarh. An open call issued by Hindu leaders to kill and rape Christians in the central Indian state on March the 1st raised serious concern about the impunity with which Christians are targeted in the country. Attacks against Christians quadruples in India, according to new report. The Evangelical Fellowship of India's Religious Liberty Commission verified 640 incidents of violence and discrimination against Christians in India in 2024, which more than quadrupled the 147 cases in 2014. Though the Commission was able to confirm 640 incidents, a total of 840 were actually reported. A spokesperson explained there are likely many more Christians who have been victimized but are afraid to come forward. The scale and intensity of persecution against Christians in India has reached crisis levels, Reverend Vijayesh Lal, General Secretary of the Evangelical Fellowship of India, stated. India's Christians feel fear and anxiety about 2025. Release International said in the new Persecution Trends report that Christians in India started 2025 with feelings of fear and anxiety about the current state of religious freedom in their country. Partners of Release speculate that the increase in persecution is driven by Hindu extremist retaliation at losses suffered by the ruling BJP party in last year's general election. Although anti-conversion laws in numerous states make life difficult, nationwide it is estimated that 3,000 Christian leaders and pastors are currently in jail under these charges. 3,000. Now, if you look at the population of these two countries, both which are a violent and difficult place for Christians to live and exist, Pakistan's population as of 2025 is 255.2 million people. Of that population, 1.27% is persecuted Christians. India's population as of 2025, and let me just add, if you look at the official meter, there's a baby born almost every 1.3 seconds. 1.4 billion people, and Christians are 2.96% of the population. So huge missionary and ministry grounds right there, but very difficult, very persecuted. So you can't really pick a side here. You can pray for the people. You can pray that people meet Jesus and turn their lives over to him. You can pray for the underground church and the church that is trying to survive in both these countries, that they be imbued with strength and power from the Holy Spirit to be able to reach further and touch more lives while we can. They are both struggling in both countries that are getting ready to potentially nuke each other while they shoot at each other. So again, pray for the civilians, pray for those caught up in all of this chaos, and pray for the underground church and the church that's trying to survive in these two countries, and pray for our Christian brothers and sisters in these countries, that the Lord protect them, give them boldness and strength and wisdom in the places that they are living at the moment. All of these are massive signs of the times. And I mean, a study from 2019 talking about a potential nuclear war between Pakistan and India in 2025. And here we are. You can't make this up. But it may seem that everything's falling apart, but everything's coming together in the full preparation for the final week. And God has not ordained us to wrath. We will fly soon. Shalom.